Yeah. That's what reminded me. Yeah, I noticed it. I don't remember which day. Excited, I took that time off on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just started. Not in our life. Well, I don't
Is everyone ready?
Yep, we're ready.
This meeting of the City of Brookfield Common Council will come to order. We begin with a public comment section in which 30 minutes are set aside, with each speaker having no more than 3 minutes to make his or her remarks, and they should begin their remarks by stating their name and address. Is there anyone who would like to address the council? Okay, seeing none. In terms of announcements, the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Common Council is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 at 7:45 p.m. here in the council chambers. Roll call.
Alderman Monty. Here. Alderman Cornell.
Here.
Alderman Redden.
Here.
Alderman Owen.
Here.
Alderman Shefts.
Here.
Alderman Anderson.
Here.
Alderman Bloom.
Here.
Alderman Hallquist.
Here.
Alderman Maycorn.
Here.
Alderman Marquardt.
Here.
Alderman Blackburn.
Here.
Alderman Malone.
Here.
Alderman Fugelberg.
Here.
Alderman Seals.
Here. Okay, Alderman Maycorn, will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we start out this evening with presentations for retiring employees, Harry Majeski and Wendy Hoyt. John, you want to meet me at the podium?
Sure. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm honored to say thank you to Gary Majeski, who's been our Parks and Forestry Superintendent for 28 plus years, and Wendy Wright. Wendy, raise your hand over there. Who's been with the city for 8 years. I just have a couple statements, and I know that we have some additional things that the mayor would like to share with them, but I'll start with Gary. Gary was a dedicated employee who truly cared about the city of Brookfield. He cared about his residents, he cared about his staff members, and he cared about what the city's reputation was in representing the people that have been elected to the city of Brookfield. His typical day was not an 8-hour day. He'd often be in his office well before 6:30 in the morning, organizing the crew and getting ready to just do our daily tasks. And there were many times where he was all the way back up at City Hall until after 5 o'clock, meeting with staff and doing other things, just so he could continue to do his job to the level that he expected it to be done. He was a wonderful leader. He was a wonderful mentor for so many young people, the young seasonals who work for us, all the way through the full-time adult employees who work for us as well. And he just worked his tail off. There were times I'd be out on the weekends just riding my bike or walking, and I would see Gary driving with his truck and checking on the ball diamonds to make sure the fields are ready for the weekend games. So he was a very dedicated person, and I'm very honored to have the time to work with him, very honored to call him a friend, and very proud of the work he did for the city of Brookfield. So Gary, thank you so much.
This is a copy of the resolution the council will pass tonight in your honor. If you'd like to make some remarks.
Your call.
I didn't do that.
You didn't, but that's okay.
I didn't.
Just wanted to thank the city of Brookfield, the elected officials, the people I've worked with, the residents. Obviously, a lot of the elected officials in here know me personally. I've spent some time here, been here a while. You know who I am. I was always proud to work here. And I'm very thankful for all the support. So not being able, having anything prepared, I think that's as good as I can do. So, thank you all.
And the next person is Wendy Wright. Wendy worked in our office for 8 years. I was fortunate to work for the city of Brookfield when I was a little bit younger. I left for a little while and went to Oconomowoc, and when I came back, I'll never forget the first day walking into the office. I was given the keys eventually. I got into the office, and Wendy had that place spit shined and all everything organized and all the POs in the numerical order with the year and the date. And it was a true sign of what I was walking into and what I was going to be able to work with for the next several years with the city of Brookfield. She was a dedicated employee, very detail oriented, worked her tail off, here like clockwork every single day. She had elite customer service, helping the people that were renting our facilities or trying to sign up for a recreation program or get their senior membership form filled out. And she was excellent at evaluating processes and testing things. And she became a very valuable asset to me as a department head to make sure as we went into new systems, such as a registration system that's going to go online, that it was going to function elite level for our residents. So she did numerous tasks of that on a regular basis. I knew right away that I had a great one, along with many others with Wendy in our office. She is leaving us to go on to the retirement phase of life, and she was a wonderful employee, and I'm very proud to work with her. So Wendy, I know you weren't prepared to say anything, so you're not required to. But if you'd like to come on up, the mayor has something for you, and we appreciate everything you've done.
Mayor, before we do that, in taking an order, or maybe I'm overstepping, I'm hoping not. Wendy, we're going to cover you right after we cover Gary Majeski with the resolution. I would like to read the resolution.
Go ahead.
And then on Mr. Majeski, and then one on Wendy as well. So as it goes to Gary, by the mayor and common council of the city of Brookfield commending Gary Majeski for over 28 years of service to the city of Brookfield. Whereas Gary was hired as the Parks and Forestry Superintendent on January 12, 1998. And whereas Gary has discharged his duties with diligence, skill, loyalty, and perception to expand and maintain the city's parks and urban forest. And whereas Gary has earned the highest respect for his knowledge and skills by both the internal and external customers he served the community and his peers. And whereas during Gary's tenure, he was responsible for maintaining 26 park sites and designated open spaces totaling 1,950 acres that drew over 200,000 visitors annually, utilizing our athletic facilities, our picnic areas, playgrounds, trails, or attending recreational programs and special events. Whereas Gary played a critical leadership role in the development of the city park system, the Greenway Trail system, and city median landscape program to include Mitchell Park, Wyberg Aquatic Center upgrades, the Civic Center, Imperial Park, and the Calhoun Road landscape, and many, many more. Whereas Gary effectively developed and administered the city's first urban forestry management plan and successfully implemented the maintenance and the planting plans, public information and education operational action plans, and an effective EAB disease control plan. Whereas Gary is known for finding balance in everything he managed. When managing work tasks, he had an opinion, but was willing to listen and allow his team to change his opinion to help improve efficiencies for the city. And whereas Gary faithfully served the people of the city of Brookfield with dedication, and it is fitting and proper that he be commended for his service to our community. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and the city common council of Brookfield that they hereby commend Gary Majeski for over 28 years of dedicated service to our community and wish him the very, very best in his retirement. Let this resolution be entered into and made part of the permanent records of the city of Brookfield, and let a suitable copy be presented to Gary Majeski, adopted and approved on the 6th of January, 2026.
Thank you. Would you read the one for Wendy now?
Yes, I will. Yes, Wendy, by the mayor and common council of the city of Brookfield commending Wendy Roy for over 8 years of service to the city of Brookfield, whereas Wendy was hired as an office services assistant in the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department on September 18th, 2017, and whereas Wendy has discharged her duties with diligence, skill, loyalty, and perception to support the work of the Parks and Recreation and Forestry Department in carrying out their operations while maintaining proper support for both internal and external customers. Whereas Wendy has earned the highest respect for her knowledge and skills from the customers she served, the community, and her peers. Whereas Wendy is all about serving her community, she truly exemplified this by educating residents on the wide variety of services offered by the department on a daily basis. Whereas Wendy's unique ability to test system operational procedures, problem solve, and navigate difficult tasks was invaluable to the success of the department. And whereas it is fitting and proper that she be commended for her service to our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and the common council of the city of Brookfield that they hereby commend Wendy Roy for over 8 years of dedicated service to our community and wish her the very, very best in her retirement. Let this resolution be entered into and made part of the permanent records of the city of Brookfield, and let a suitable copy be presented to Wendy Roy, adopted and approved by this council on January 6th, 2026.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For your service. Would you like to make any comments?
No, thank you.
Thank you all for that. I just want to make one more comment. We're not saying goodbye to these two. They're going to be around and be part of our community, and they're always a great resource for us in the future. But these are two great people that had a huge impact on our community, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of myself, former staff members that work for the city, and all the employees that work for you. These are two great people, and we're lucky to have them. So again, thank you so much.
Okay, we now move to the consent agenda. Are there any items that any alderman would like to move from the consent agenda?
Mayor, hearing none, I would move the consent agenda.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second moving the consent agenda. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The ayes have it. We move to item 5A on the non-consent agenda. And that's from the Legislative Licensing Committee. It's a resolution approving an original bartender operator license for an applicant with violations, Lucas D. Bird. And the vote was 4-1. Alderman Shev's voting no. Gary, you want to move that?
Yes, I would, Your Honor. I would move item 5A, and you already read it for the record.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion? Yes, go ahead.
It's not a typo. It was me who voted to not award the license. If you look at being operating while intoxicated, it was just too soon. It was less than 18 months. And there was an additional factor that the applicant had not yet applied or pursued the educational awareness program that was part of or the requirement, right, that he complete. So I told him, I said, it's just too soon, right? It's just too soon from the actual operating while intoxicated, and it didn't seem like he took responsibility or figured out, hey, I'm gonna deal with this head on, I'm gonna deal with it right away. I just didn't get the sense of that he took it seriously enough to start taking corrective action. So I just could not vote with my colleagues.
Okay, does anyone else have any comments on 5A?
Can we say what his blood alcohol level was, or, I'm just wondering when he was pulled over, if we can say what the blood alcohol level was, like super high, medium high, low?
I don't know.
If I recall correctly, it was above a point,
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5, he was an interlock, it would be about 0.15.
So he blew it away.
Yes.
You, question, I don't know, Jen, if it's for you or for someone else, maybe on the legislative committee, but what's the past precedence for either passing or denying? I'm just curious as to how this compares to other people who we've denied.
Under the statute, we can't necessarily use past precedents. I mean, it can be a consideration as the age of the offense, but you have to look at the entire application, whether they brought in any extenuating circumstances, like they've gone through treatment, or they brought somebody in to vouch for them, or if they've had other factors that may have led to reasons to give the license or to not give the license, if they were untruthful or truthful or other things. So it's hard to kind of say there isn't a hard and fast factor that we use. Generally, I can say the committee tends to look at ones that happen with 18 months a little bit more seriously than I'd say the other ones that those are more recent in their minds than ones that happened 4 or 5 years ago.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this matter. Would anyone else like to comment?
Mayor, I'll just
Go ahead.
partly to address Alderman Anderson, and I think it varies from case to case in terms of precedents, if you will, and what else may or may not have transpired in the gentleman's life and past history, even longer ago than that. I felt as comfortable as I ever feel with any of these when they have violations. It appeared to be the only stain on his record. I felt he did own up to it. I mean, I'll acknowledge the one part that he hadn't gone for his program was a little disconcerting, but he acknowledged it on the form that he filled out. He was honest, or at least apparently honest, about what happened that night. He was closing down. While he was closing down, he pounded a couple and then drove home. Not a great decision. But as near as we could tell from his record, it was the one blemish on his record in his adult life. And given that it was, again, approximately 18 months ago, I was comfortable supporting because there was no other back history beyond that. So gives you a little clue, I guess, and what we look at.
Mayor, I probably should have said something earlier too, because, obviously I chair that committee and, I have a good recall of this case, obviously, it was just the last time we met. And I appreciate Alderman Redden's comments, his, rendition is spot on, but I also appreciate Alderman Shetz, and I'm not just saying that to placate somebody. Because in my eyes, this was close in the sense that I grappled with it and I would understand the vote against. I supported it. And some of the reasons I did is what Alderman Redden brought up. And in fact, I always tell these folks, we're not here to be self-righteous. We're just here to try to get an understanding of what happened and then also get an understanding of whether a lesson was learned, without being self-righteous. And explaining to this council, because a lot of folks have not sat on legislative and licensing, but a number of years back, because, Jason asked the right question about precedent setting. A number of years back, we developed some standards because we didn't want to be arbitrary, and quite frankly, Jason, and I know Attorney Merton tried to go into this extensively at what some of the variables are, but they're vast. It's really hard to explain. It just is, because every case is just a little bit different. There's some that okay, guess what? This is a no-brainer. This is a slam dunk. You know what I mean? No, type of thing. And I give you credit for having the guts to come in front of us. We're not here to be self-righteous, but we're here to use our integrity, because every time we make a vote on that legislative and licensing committee, we put our own integrity on the line. It's not only about our integrity, it's about the safety of this community. And so we set up these parameters of kind of like the 0 to 18 months is like an almost automatic no. And we rarely ever, less than 18 months with an OWI, approve it. This guy was so close, as Bob Redden brought out, I think he was a month shy, Bob, wasn't he? Just about a month shy of the 18 month. So you still grapple because you want to be consistent. And then from the 18 months to 36, if you ever sit on that L&L, Jason, is it more leeway? But it's also not a given. And then after 36 months, we kind of say, okay, there's no other infractions. And it's not all about just OWIs, so those are really important, obviously, and so are drugs. It's about other things, and I felt, as Bob did, and again, great minds can differ, Alderman Shetz, that I felt he had good demeanor. I thought his demeanor was good, and I really thought he had demonstrated to us a sense of really, I get this now. I never did this before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he brought his employer.
He did.
Yeah, I thought so. She was sitting in the corner there, and well, she didn't, and again, that's a mark too of someone's character. So I did grapple, and I want the council to hopefully respect our decisions. That doesn't mean another member of the committee can't, vote against it. That's not about it. It's just to understand that there's a lot of thought process that goes in, and some people reach a different conclusion. And this one for me was a little close, but I was comfortable, as was Alderman Redden, in voting for him. And so that's kind of some of the variables we took into place. And I always do look at their demeanor. We sometimes disagree with that too, don't we, Chuck? I mean, but we'll look at that and say, I think this guy's hosing us, and usually we're all on the same page, but not always. But I felt they had good demeanor. So anyway, I apologize to my colleagues because I spent more time than I should have this night in explaining that, but I know some of you folks have never been on legislative and licensing, and it's a little bit of a tutorial.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
No.
Who are the noes? Okay.
The next matter is the mayor's announcement of legislative referrals and requests for services. There are none. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Sure, the noes were Alderman Shetz, Alderman Hallquist, and Alderman Gilbert.
A motion to adjourn is in order.
You got it.
Okay, yes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.
Take care of it. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, so I think, yes, just that I have like 501. So I'm trying to, there's one. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, I have to, I think I have it in my office. I just want to- Yeah, it's an email, and I've listened to all the candidates for the paper, so. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. Twice.
Could be worse. Where's he at? Sir?
He was the one who just.
There is no.